Say her name. Say her name. Ashli Babbitt. Say it. Don't forget it. Don't become confused. Don't forget what January 6th was. Don't lose your mind in the unimportant. Her name was Ashli Babbitt. This is who she was.
3 million people here today. So despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue, patriots and Trump. And it was amazing to get to see the president talk. We are now walking down the inaugural path to the Capitol building. 3 million plus people. God bless America, patriots.
Remember who she was. Remember that name. And spell it correctly. I want to make sure we hear the very, very first part of this, because it may have been, sometimes these are truncated, as it were, sometimes.
There are 3 million people here today. So despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue, patriots and Trump.
Patriots and Trump. Remember that. Remember, that's what this is about. That's what this is about. And there's something so interesting about this story. It's amazing how many people really don't understand what happened. They talk about policemen being killed. It didn't happen. But the tragic events of January the 6th, think about this. This is 5 years ago at the U.S. Capitol, continue to spew lies and incorrect truth and the like. It's an incredible thing. And what's really important are the lives lost and the impact on law enforcement. Now, among these folks, and this is important, you have to understand and grasp who are these people that were involved. Because, as you know, lies will be stated and then repeated, and then they're misunderstood, and then they're misspoken and misrepresented. But let's go through this. Among the people dead, there was a Capitol Police officer, Jeffrey Smith, who died by suicide 9 days after the riot. And he's become, I guess, emblematic perhaps of the broader, challenges that deal with addressing mental health issues and the tolls on officers, while trying to distinguish between line of duty deaths and subsequent tragedies. Now, this officer Smith was reportedly assaulted during the riot, with evidence indicating that he was struck by a flying metal pole, and his wife later noted that he appeared to be in pain and was not himself in the days following the incident. Nevertheless, the D.C. Metro Police cleared him to return to duty on January the 15th, the same day he tragically took his own life. Did you know that? No. In a significant and controversial decision, the D.C. Police and Firefighters Retirement and Relief Board ruled his death to be a line of duty incident, granting his widow, which is terrific, Erin Smith, full death benefits. And the board justified its decision by concluding that the injury that he sustained during the riot was the, quote, sole and direct cause of his death. Well, think about it. This official finding sparked considerable debate, as it implies, and this is critical, a direct kind of approximate cause, a direct causation between the riot and the suicide. This is a conclusion that lacks clear evidence, clear public evidence, and is difficult really to reconcile with the circumstances. Now, while it's possible that the trauma of January 6th contributed to his mental health decline or some pre-existing mental health issue, it remains evident that his death was the result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound while he was performing duties. Now, whether you like it or not, this distinction matters. And it's not to diminish the tragedy of the death, but to preserve the integrity of what constitutes line of duty death. It makes sense. Now, keep in mind, if you go to the Vietnam Memorial, there are folks' names on the wall of individuals who took their own life, and that is important. Obviously. And how they categorize that is up to them. Now, the broader political implications and social narratives surrounding J6 have further complicated matters. Now, President Biden, congressional Democrats, and some of the mainstream media have cited Officer Smith's death alongside others to emphasize the gravity of the riot and its consequences. However, these narratives, these tragedies nonetheless, often conflate line of duty deaths with self-inflicted, can't say the S word, or natural causes that occur after the event, leading people to rationally allege accusations of exaggeration or misrepresentation. Now, for example, while initial reports falsely claimed that Officer Brian Sicknick was killed by blunt force trauma during the riot, it was later determined that he died of natural causes the following day after suffering 2 strokes. Similarly, the suicides of other officers in the months following the riot, tragedy as they are, cannot be equated, cannot be linked to, cannot be causally connected with the deaths occurred directly by the violence of January 6th. And the case of Officer Smith also highlights the pressing need, the requirement to address, of course, mental health within law enforcement. Now, look, police officers routinely face traumatic and high-stress situations. And the suicide rate among officers is significantly higher than in most professions. And the Capitol riot undoubtedly represented an extreme and dangerous and harrowing event for many officers, and its psychological toll is obviously undeniable. However, acknowledging this impact doesn't mean disregarding the distinction between the aftermath of trauma and deaths that occur in the line of duty. To do otherwise risks diluting the unique honor reserved for officers who sacrifice their lives while actively protecting the public. This goes without saying. Aaron Smith's heartbreaking, terrible experience underscores the broader, the systemic loss at play here. She learned of her loss of medical insurance benefits due to her husband's death by suicide, prompting outrage and advocacy from a number of lawmakers. Now, this advocacy, this support, led to the board's decision to classify Officer Smith's death as line of duty, ensuring her eligibility for full benefits. Now, while the outcome is certainly compassionate and just for his family, it raises questions about the role of political pressure and the political misuse of classifications to serve broader narratives about January 6th. Did they do this really to support and protect her and her family, or to add weight and heft to the story and the narrative of January 6th? Now, ultimately, Officer Smith's story is a reminder of the complexities, the intricacies, the horrors, the interconnectivity between mental health and trauma, and the sacrifices made by law enforcement officers. There's no doubt about this. And while we, of course, as a society should honor their service and grieve this loss, we must also maintain clarity and honesty in discussing the death. Look, doing so doesn't diminish the memory, but ensures that the unique valor of those individuals who give their lives remain intact. Now, the sole person who died was Ashli Babbitt. Her family is going to proceed with the lawsuit. And I am telling you right now, I will always say this, and I'm always hesitant to comment on cases that I know nothing about. I've never sat through a deposition. I knew none of the facts. I'm kind of guessing. They're going to try to bring up her own past, her own idiosyncrasies. She didn't deserve to be murdered. Now you can see that's a tough word. That's the malice of forethought. That's the intentional, the killing of a human being, not manslaughter, not reckless endangerment, not negligence. The officer Byrd who was there, I'm asking, did he receive any training? See, in my mind, I would have in that lawsuit more experts to say, no, this is not the way you handle it. She posed no threat of imminent death. There were officers all around. Yeah, they were. She might not have listened. She was wrong to break through a window or be a part. Yes, but what did they think this was? What did they offered no, there was no threat. It was horrible. And I hope that President Trump provides her with the service and the recognition. I hope that we name something after her. I hope there's a scholarship or something. Do not let her name die in vain. Do not let her name just go the way of our usual attention span of a gnat. But also, we must explain no police officers were killed there that day. And if they were, all of the officers, it was stroke or something later on, again, tragic, but they were not killed there. And to show you how these Democrats work, they perpetuate this lie. This lie. So remember her name, Ashli Babbitt. Remember her name. Remember what she was. And remember, no police, no one was killed. Do not let these lies, AOC claiming, you know what she was claiming. I don't want to go through this whole litany. Look, I understand politics is a lot of BS and embellishment and exaggeration, but this is like something I've never even thought possible. What do you think, my dear friends? Act, think. What do you think? What do you have to say? Answer the questions. Answer the questions that I've posed, that I've proposed. And whatever you do, dear friends, remember her name. I would be so honored if you subscribe to this channel. So honored if you like this video and apply the necessary metrics that gets us into the HOV lane of attention and the like. And I ask you right now to comment, remembering Ashli Babbitt, but to comment as you see fit.